Hello and welcome, guys. Recently, I had an epiphany, right? So, I've been wanting to play Punk for a little while now, and it just isn't good enough right now, the deck, until today. What I have for you is Diabellstar P.u.n.k. So, to start, we're gonna have the standard Punk engine. Now, the ratios aren't perfect, but this is more or less a base of what to build off of. But what's for sure is these cards right here are staying at 3 no matter how you want to build it. And then where the other card counts come into play, that is for discussion. But the basic is always 3 Xiamen, 3 Foxy Tune, 3 Emergency Teleport, and then at least 1 Sharkusai, Deer Note, Wagon, and Spider. I'm also throwing in an Ogre Dance just for a little bit more consistency. Now, you could, of course, play the other trap or one of each, and I'm tempted to test around with that. But to start, I'm going to play with this base that I've got set up, and then I'll worry about ratios later. But this is the Punk engine that's pretty standard. It's not really ever going to change all that much. Oh, totally forgot. We're also playing the one tracker, the one Ghost Ogre. Both are search targets off of Jam Dragon. But I forgot to mention them, but they're both important for their own ways. Ghost Ogre is actually going to be pretty funny for into Centurion coming up, so it's nice that we can search that. Now, for the second portion of this engine, I'm going to need you guys to forgive me for not having the actual cards. I'll have to proxy a good chunk of them, but for our secondary engine, it's the Diabellstar engine, so I'm playing 3 of the Black Witch, and I've got this Captain Carry here as a stand-in for my third. Though you could technically run it at less. The idea with this list is we want to see a level 7 early so we can make Baron. It makes playing into Droll and Nib a lot easier. It also just makes going second easier. So, of course, since we've got 3 of the Black Witch, we're going to have 3 of the spell, the quick play spell, Wanted, Sinful Spoils, to search her out in the draw phase. I don't have that right now, but once I get them, it's going to be 3 and 3 to start with. And then, of course, you'll have the one Snake Eye, and then whatever target you like. I know this is a jet, but it's not a jet because I need a knot tuner. What I've decided is I'll probably go with Volcanic Shell since it replaces itself in the hand and also lets me burn, so I can get lower for the Psychic End Punisher if that comes into play. And then the final bit to this secondary engine, if you will, is actually Fenrir. I know this is a really funny looking Fenrir, but with 9 different level 7 bodies we can get before we summon, it makes getting into Baron actually a possibility, which is something that during the Nats format over summer, Kashtira format, we were very close to being able to do that, but only having 3 Fenrirs just wasn't good enough. But now that we've got 9, it's good enough. It's consistent enough that we can get to the Baron. Okay, and finally what we've got left here is just non-engine. I've got 12, though there's only really 10 slots. At the same time, we don't really care if we go over 40. Not all that much. But you choose your favorite non-engine slots. I've decided I probably want more impactful cards. So, well, I do have, like, Ash and Imprim up here. It could be anything. I think 10 of your choice. So it could be Droll, Nib, Imperm, or it could be board break cards like Droplet, Econ, Talents, Thrust, whatever you want to do to play into the format. I like Econ and Droplet and Imperm a lot. Droll and Nibiru are also very good, and it's hard to say no to Ash. But TLDR is play your favorite 10 non-engine for how you think the format you're playing into specifically at your locals or bigger event is going to be. Alright, now for the extra deck, this is, it's actually very, very free. So at minimum, you need to play at least 1/1 of all the Punk extra deck cards. It's for the combo, so it's pretty self-explanatory. And then something else that's really key for this deck is actually going to be a Little Knight. I'm going to run 2, mostly because I've got to, and there's space for it. But it gives you an alternate end board with the SP, so you can choose between SP or if you want the bounce with the Sharkusai. But having SP also lets you refresh Baron, which is pretty powerful if you end up needing that. So that's something that we've got space, so we're going to throw it in there. And then I've already mentioned Baron and Punisher before. These are staples if we can get to them. I've got an extra Jam Dragon Drive because I do. And finally, other cards to consider are Savage, Apollosa, and this should be an IP Masquerena. I've lent it out to a friend. But as you can see, the extra deck is extremely open, so play with this however you want. Throw a Typhoon in there, or other XYZ cards if you'd like. There's just so much space, which is something I think is very interesting with the Punk cards, is it doesn't take much extra deck, so you can do a lot of different things with it. Alright, so let's get some test hands so I can hopefully elucidate the idea of the deck here. So we're going to draw our 5. Oh yeah, very shuffled. So what we have here is this. Remember, this is the quick play spell stand-in because I'm poor and don't have it right now. But so because this is the quick play spell to search for the Diabellstar Witch, we're gonna go ahead and use that in the draw phase. That way we can play around draw at least a little bit. And then also what's important is that means that we have a Baron here, especially since we have enough bodies to do it. But we'll go ahead and enter the main phase. We'll go ahead and normal our Xiamen. You could always, actually, it's probably better, use E-Telly and summon one from deck. This way you save your normal summon for later on in case for some reason you need it. And that's one of the benefits of Punk is there's a lot of ways to special or not use your normal, so sometimes you can just play through everything. So there's Xiamen from deck. Let's burning that. And the reason we do that is we're summoning the Diabellstar next, and it's the same thing, except now we haven't used our normal, so we're plenty happy with that. And then we'll go ahead and use the Black Witch effect to set the Snake Eye card, if I can find it. Yeah, there we go. The original Sinful Spoils. And this lets us summon out the level 1 from deck. The level 1 Fire. It also is a target for the quick play spell to get us a draw, so that's why that's important. From here, we'll go ahead and use the Xiamen effect and pray they don't draw us. Though technically this hand might be able to play through it, we want to get our advantage going. And you know, if they draw us here, it's not the end of the world. We still get pretty far. Anyways, if they haven't, nice. If they have, they have. But from here, we're going to go ahead and turn these 2 cards into a Baron de Fleur. And then from there, we'll use our second E-Telly since we had it. And we'll go ahead and summon Sharakusai. And now we essentially have the entire Sharakusai combo line completely protected. Since we've got the Baron, they're not going to interact with it, so that's pretty nice. Unless they've got 2 hand traps, in which case they're better, I guess. So we'll go ahead and use the effect, and we'll use our add target from earlier, the Foxy Tune, so that we can fuse. So we'll use it from hand. And we'll go ahead and fuse into the Carp, and then Carp will tribute itself to summon out 2 from deck. So we'll go to our deck, and we'll go and find a Deer Note, and we'll find ourselves a Wagon. We'll then use the Wagon's effect to get the field spell. This is both an extender and draws. It's really powerful, so we always want to get to that when we can. And then this is where, you know, this is pretty standard, but it starts getting really interesting soon. So we're going to Synchro, and that will make our Searcher, though you could also Foolish, but we're going to search. And so you go Jam Dragon and Deer Note's effect. Deer Note will go grab the Sharakusai since he has a potential quick effect. And then the Jam Dragon will search. So you've got 2 options here. Well, 3 really, but we could choose Trekker, or we can choose Ghost Ogre, or any other Punk name since we haven't used the field spell to special. I'm going to grab the Trekker to show what we can do with that. And then we're going to get a draw off of the field spell. So I'll let my opponent cut. Thank you, opponent. And so now we're sitting on the Trekker Imperm and our draw. Ash. Cool. And so from here, before I forget, we're going to special out the Trekker because we've got a level 3. And then this is a good question. Because we can normal the Ash since we haven't normaled yet, or we could try and go for the draw. We could tribute 1 and summon the Fire. See, this is, and this is why it's fun. Oh, we need to get one more search, don't we? Oh, yeah, no, I grabbed the wrong card. We're supposed to grab Spider. There we go. Sorry, guys. See, even professionals, we make mistakes sometimes, right? And so then, since we grabbed the Spider, we've gotten our draw from paying on the search. We'll banish a card from the graveyard. It doesn't matter what you banish. I chose Deer Note because it dodges Bestials better than Foxy Tune, but the end result is you don't want to banish one of the tuners to summon off the field spell. And then Spider grabs us the trap, and then gets us our second draw on the turn. And so now we're back into interesting territory. Oh, I forgot a card. Herald of the Arclight should be in the extra deck, guys. Sorry. Let them cut, and we'll get a draw. So this is where it gets interesting. So one thing we could do is turn any two of these bodies. It doesn't matter which two. Oh, this is so intriguing. Any two bodies into SP, right? Or IP if that's what you wanted to do, and then SP on their turn. Or we could save these two bodies in particular right here, so that we can do the Sharkusai bounce on their turn, the big dragon. And alternatively, we could like use this Ogre Dance that we got to go search for another punk card. One that doesn't matter. So we'll just grab our final little Xiamen to normal him. And then we turn the Xiamen that we normaled and this spider into the SP or whatever else. Normally it's going to be an SP. But what would be the most interesting here, so we still have the spider out, this is in deck, and this is in hand, is we can use the Sinful Spoils Snake. Wait, no, whoa. No, we're going to do it the right way. So we are actually going to go grab and normal summon. And we're going to use the snake, and that will get rid of the Xiamen, because we have to tribute for the summon and then summon out. And so this is where it matters that it's a non-tuner, since pretty much every punk card is a tuner. And we'll summon out the Jet, which is really something like either like one of the Infernoble little guys or the Volcanic card, which I think I'm going to do since it can replace itself. And then we'll turn these two, the Madam Spider and the Jet, which is really a Volcanic shell or something. We'll turn those two into a Herald of the Arclight. Just pretend I, thought ahead. Herald of the Arclight. And then because we have a Sinful Spoil card that's not named the Quick Play, we can target it, banish the Quick Play, and put the targeted card on the bottom and get a draw. And so from here, we now have a Searcher to start next turn. We'll set 2 Infirms, have an Ash, and then we have an Omni Negate that banishes all monsters they send. We have an Omni Negate that is Baron to Fleur, and we'll have a bounce come their turn. So you know what? If they beat you after all that, then you know what? Your opponent's just really good. But when you win because this board is crazy, you can thank me. And I'll thank you for playing it. Anyways, guys, that's what I've got for today. Get to cooking. See y'all next time.
I'm gonna give a big shout out to my mom. She will be putting a 2 weeks notice in today.
Johnston can't pull.